Hello everyone, welcome to the last part of my CCM R30 rebuild. As you can see now, it's completely finished. It's changed a little bit looks wise, but I'll explain how that's happened and why it's happened as I'm going through the video. So I'll just show you what I've done since the last video. Last time it was basically half a bike. I'd stripped and rebuilt from the front backwards. That's how I started the bike. I worked from the front and worked my way back. Up until last time, it had no swing arm on it. I think I just dropped it out to get it powder coated. And I was going to take the shock out the next day if my memory serves me correct. So this is it. It's completely finished now. If you've seen my last videos of my GSX R600, which is now gone, it's been sold. The reason I've put this back to how it is now, i.e. the front light is now, I've put a front light back on it and the rear light back on it, and number plate, that's what was on it before, which was just a MX sort of front plate. I've put the bike back on the road. I've had it MOT'd and it's back on the road purely because I haven't got a bike at the minute because I sold the GSX-R. And I sort of sat there one night and I thought, well, I've done so much work on this, why don't I just put this back on the road until I get something else to replace the GSX-R, which I can now reveal is not going to be another sports bike. It's going to be another Supermoto, so we'll have another Supermoto soon, so I'll have two of them. So yeah, so I'm going to show you what I've done. All the fairings have been resprayed in this satin black colour. I've put my own decals on them as well. The oil cooler is just been, the guard there's been powder coated just to give it a clean up. I've cleaned all this up. I've heat wrapped all the downpipe up until this point here. I've got a mount there for me GoPro, so that's another reason I did it, really, to keep a bit of heat off the camera, and I've tried that out and it does work really well. I'm going to post some videos up of different shots once I've got this video up. I just want to show you guys the finished bike before I put any videos up. The frame has been completely resprayed. That was a big job, took a long time, but it's come out really nice. I'm really pleased with that. I've sprayed this engine casing. I believe this wasn't done in my last video, so I've resprayed that. Done the oil filler cap white. I've done the oil cooler pipes, all these here. Done all them white. My foot pegs been powder coated in white. I know that it's going to chip off a little bit on the top, the powder coat, but I don't care. I like it how it is like that. I'm just going to leave it like that. Rear brake lever has been reshaped. So I've reshaped it. I've cut bits off. Don't know if you can see that, but I've drilled some holes in there to give it that machine sort of look. I know it is a little bit tarty, if you like, but I just want to make it. I just want to give it my own little touches to make it just a bit different from the rest. And then I've had that powder coated. I've had the actual pedal powder coated white. I've had this bit powder coated white also. My rear shock, now that was a big job. The rear shock come out, I had that serviced, as you can see there. I had the rear shock serviced, I rubbed it all down, repainted everything on there. The shock I had powder coated, I've repainted this bit, it's all been repainted. Like I say, I had it serviced, put back in. Another thing I've had done in white as well is this, the engine mount here. I've had that done in white. You can't really see it, but again, it's just me being a bit of a tart, but I like it. I've also put a Red Bull can on there, on the thing where the oil is, but I know a lot of people were doing that back in the early 90s with sort of, whatever GSX-R 6000s and all that, but it just gives it, if you're standing back, it just gives it that little fleck of colour rather than everything being black and white, which I like, but I just think and it's quite subtle because you can't see it really unless you're looking for it. It's one of the things you'd be like, oh look, it's done that. It's something you'd notice a bit later on. Like I say, it's something a lot of people were doing back in the early 90s, but I like it. Bring back the 90s, that's what I say. Obviously, same this side, foot pegs. Again, engine mounts on the front have been powder coated in white. I've cleaned, all the engine has been cleaned up. Everything on the engine has been cleaned up. Absolutely everything. Carburetors, you name it, it's been cleaned. I spent probably 4.5 to 5 hours cleaning the engine you know, with the tank off and all that, getting into every little bit. Some bits were really hard to clean up, like the starter motor. I cleaned it up the best I could, but in the end I had to resort to this carbon sheet that I've put on the over the airbox just to tidy that up. I've done that on the starter motor also. I don't really like carbon sheet. I try and avoid using it as much as possible, but it doesn't look that bad. It actually looks alright. It looks quite good. So that's come out really nice. I'm really pleased with that as well. The guy that did the only thing I haven't done on this bike myself is the powder coating, because obviously I haven't got the equipment for that. And I was going to spray the fairings myself, which is the tank and the rear fairing, but with an aerosol doing it in my garden, I'm going to get shit in the paint. And I know somebody does it professionally. I thought, you know what, just give it to him. He charged me 60 quid to do that, which is great, and he's done such a lovely job on it, so a big thanks to him. You know who you are, so thanks for that. Which really, I really like it. I've gone for satin black rather than gloss black, just to give it a bit of difference. I've had to put the controls back on up the top, obviously to make it road legal. It's gone through its MOT and it's passed, no problems at all. So I've put these controls back on. This is the only thing that went on there. My crash bungs, and I can't remember if I just mentioned them, but I've got peg sliders on there. I've put rear crash bobbins on the axle, and also on the handlebars. There's crash bobbins on the handlebars as well. The only thing I've got to do is I've got to drill and tap the spindle to fit the crash bungs on the front, which I've got here. There. I'm not going to put the threaded bar through it. I'm just going to drill and tap the spindle, put a 10mm bolt in there, screw it on. Job done. So that's two things I need to do, is the crash bungs on the front, and the only thing I haven't done also is the exhaust. That's the standard exhaust that come on the bike, and I'm going to buy a new one. I've basically just run out of money because I've spent a lot of money trying to get it done quicker than was planned, just so I've got a bike back on the road. So I'm going to get the can. I'm going to get that next month. I will do a separate video on the can when it comes, and it is really nice. I can't wait to get that on there, and it's going to sound great. The front fairing is a Polysport Halo, Halo standing for halogen, and I cannot rate that enough. That fairing, it was about 50 quid, but Jesus, the lights are so bright on it. And before I've had them crappy little Street Fighter halogen bulbs, well, I wouldn't even call them halogen, you know what you have in your bathroom, like them the round lights. They're not that great, to be honest, but it gets it for an MOT. But that is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I can't rate that enough, that Polysport Halo front fairing there. What else have I done? I've put my own decals on it, my Alpine stars there. I've changed the gearing as well. It's originally, when it comes out the factory, it's got a 43 rear sprocket and a 15 front sprocket. I've changed that. I've put a 48 on the back from a 43, and I've put a 14 on the front from a 15. So I have, like I say, I have ridden the bike. I rode it back from getting its MOT, and it's very, it likes the back wheel, which is it's great fun. I've missed riding this bike so much. I really have. I haven't ridden it for 2 years, and just to get back on it, it's just great. I've had more fun on this coming back from the MOT station than I had on the GSXR in over a year of owning it. And I'm saying that with hand on heart, I just love this bike. I'm so pleased with how it's come out as well. I really am pleased with it. All the hard work that I've put in, it's taken a long time. I got the bike home in November of 2012, I believe. Yeah, 2012. And then I didn't start work on it until the first week of December 2012, and it's now, today is the 13th of April, and it's finished. And my target was to get it finished by end of May, start of June. So I finished a month ahead of what I'd anticipated, and yeah, I'm so pleased with it. Really am pleased. One thing I have changed as well is, in my last video I think I showed, I did the front sprocket cover in white. I've changed that. I've sprayed it black again. It's all back to black. It looked a bit too much white going on there, and I only wanted to put flecks of white here and there. With the foot pegs being white and that being white, the foot peg blended into it a bit too much, and I wanted the foot peg to stand out, so I've put that back to black, which I think looks a lot better, to be honest. But yeah, I do love that Red Bull can. It looks wicked. I really like it. What else? I think that is it. Like I say, my own decals are on there. Me race number 53 underneath. I've put me 53 there. What else has been done to it? Oh yeah, the MOT. I was a bit just. It might help some of you guys out. I really didn't know if it had passed an MOT without a side stand. Still hasn't got a side stand on it. I'll just lean it up against the wall when I go out. Because I cut all the mounts off with it obviously being built for a track bike. I'm still going to use it on the track, this bike. Still am going to use it on the track, but when I get my other Supermoto, I'll put this back with the original fairing that was on the front without the lights. And I'll probably just nick the Polysport Halo off this and whack it on my other bike, to be honest, because I like that fairing, like I say. So, yeah. A bike in England can pass an MOT without a side stand, without a rev counter, and without a speedo. All you need to have is a set of lights that work, high beam and low beam, and a hooter. That is basically all you need. And the brakes have obviously got to be working well, but I've replaced front and rear pads, because like I said, it was sitting outside for 2 years, and I didn't want the pads to come fucking rushing out the calipers the first time I had to hit the brakes and go crashing into a wall or something. So yeah, so that's it, guys. It is done, and I'm going to get out on it today, hopefully. And if the rain holds off, I'm definitely going to pop out later and have a little blast around. So that is it. That is how it looks now, and now it's finished. I'm going to take the hooter back off. I only put that on for the MOT. I didn't even bother cleaning that up because I wasn't going to put it back on the road. So I'm going to just take that back off. So yeah, that is it. I can't think if there's anything else I should tell you about, really. But I think that's about it. Yeah. Alright guys, well this is the last video of me actually rebuilding the bike. Let me know if you like it. Please leave us some comments. It's taken a lot of graft. It really has taken a lot of work. And it would be nice to know that it's all paid off. So let us know what you think. If you like it, brilliant. If you don't, still let me know. Tell me what you would change to make things a bit different. And the next video you see will be me actually out on the bike. So, which hopefully will get done today at some point or over the weekend. Alright guys, I hope you have a nice weekend, and I'll catch you soon.